Right. For last
My
name,
next
we'll give
meeting
her
I'll
a
have
little
a tiara. I'll wear a princess outfit.
Like the Army from
Slow.
I expect that at the next meeting.
Oh, why isn't?
TV. So that when people give
That will be my last
presentations,
meeting, by
the
the way.
whole audience can see.
Just an FYI.
I actually had a little box there and I sit right there.
Why couldn't you wait to tell me that?
Yeah, it's been going on.
You already knew it was coming.
I know. But I've been hoping. Keep looking up there for the clock. No, I used to think that.
So we finally got it all worked out.
Oh, good.
Brittany and I went to two board meetings, two city council meetings. Things are settled down now.
They looked at really ugly.
Were you on there?
Yeah.
Mike found out to be the Latah County Library, which is like the library.
Good.
Component.
Doing really good.
Classes twice a year.
Yeah, yeah, it's doing good. Doing a lot better than it was 2 years ago. Yeah. Yep, no, she's doing good. Thanks to our wonderful EMS, you know, she made it this
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, I know, I saw that today, and I was like, man, I didn't think she'd be here.
Yeah, she's,
There's something about where it's the sun because of snow issues and all that.
yeah, doing great.
I haven't been back out there to see, it should have gotten put up this last year.
I'm gonna turn it on so I don't forget. April 8th, did you say 25?
All right, before we get started, please rise for the pledge of allegiance. We move the flag.
Where is it?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Like Tristan says that.
The flag's gone.
I took it from there. Right out here about there.
So I just got a quick thing to say real quick about with everything that's been going on the last month and four meetings last month, we were not able to get all of the minutes done. So we can either call a special meeting to approve those, or we can wait till April. I mean, Cheyenne has been, May. Cheyenne has been just super busy with some training and a lot of other stuff going on. So, and there was a lot of stuff going on with those, especially with all those special meetings. So I'm gonna leave that up to you guys to decide if you want to call a special meeting to approve the minutes next week, or wait till May.
I say we wait till May.
Seems like a special meeting would just make the problem worse.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm good with that.
On that meeting.
Yep. Okay.
I motion to make, I table. We don't need a motion
Nope.
for that, we just table.
No, we just gotta still approve the bills. Has everybody looked at the bills?
I have a question on the flags. I suppose they're just the American flags and stuff like that you guys have out.
Yes, we have the new big one is up, and the new one for the little field is up, and we'll put the rest out before Memorial Day on Main.
Okay.
We decided they were a little too faded.
Yeah, no, I agree. I have to change mine out often too at work. I think that was the only thing I had to do. Amanda?
I'm going to, I guess, assume that Todd, those charges are like you prosecuting or,
Once we our special,
or is it just billed out because all the meetings?
So there were two invoices sent. One was for general city business, and then the other bill was specific to prosecution. Yeah, but we combined those two amounts and then divvied them out to the 3 different accounts.
nice.
Was that it?
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept the bills for March,
It is,
or April.
has been moved. Do we have a second? seconded, all in favor? Okay. Why can I not remember your name? Laura, yes. Aaron. I should have known, I should, because, yeah. Okay, I think you are up, if you want to say anything. I think it's, we're wanting to extend the lease agreement for the library, because you're quite not ready to move to Kendrick, correct?
Yeah, I don't really think there's anything that
Yeah,
needs to be said.
yeah, that's just what that is about, is just to extend the lease, which I thought it automatically renewed, but I didn't know for sure, so that's why we decided to put it on the agenda, just make sure the council was aware,
Okay.
so.
You're not changing your mind, are you?
Not yet.
Yeah, I'm good with that. You guys want that? Okay, I'll make a motion to extend the Latah County Library Extension Lease Agreement.
It's been moved, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Motion passes. Is Brian, I don't see Brian. Brian Groseclose?
Here.
I'm Wayne Schmidt with I'm on the library board,
Oh,
and so we were just here to say we appreciate everything that you've done,
yeah,
and looking forward to getting the new library open in Kendrick.
yeah, we're very sad that it's leaving Juliaetta, but we're glad we still have one in our area.
That's exactly,
Yep.
we tried for many, many years to get one here,
Yep,
and just weren't able to make it work, and finally said, okay, there's an opportunity. And we've had some attempts in the past to reduce the number of libraries, and the board is actively saying, no, we're not gonna do that.
Right.
And that we're gonna maintain all of the libraries in the district. So when the elections come up, remember that. May 20th, the board is very united in making sure that we keep all of the libraries going. And we're working on a strategic plan, and so we're reaching out to all the communities, including here, to say, you know, what can we do different? What can we do to make sure that we're continuing to serve the communities? So just wanted you to know that we're working on that diligently.
Thank you.
yeah, thank you for coming down.
You're welcome.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Do we need to draw up a new lease agreement or extending? And then when are we extending through?
Through September, well, September 1st is what April suggested, because we're supposed to be in the new building by then. So I don't know if you want to extend it maybe to the end of September, but
The letter request, you can extend it to the end of September.
Okay.
So that'd be our request.
Maybe Todd could just write something up. I think we might be able to just, yeah, pretty simple. And then, I know Chris retired, who took her spot?
April Hernandez,
Okay, so we can just send it up there.
yeah.
Perfect. I have her email address too, if
Yeah.
you're fine with
Yeah.
email.
Perfect.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you for coming down.
Thank you
You're
guys.
Yep.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Have a quiet evening.
I don't see Brian here. Okay, so we'll just skip that one. So the next is the the Fair Housing Proclamation, what we have, we just have to renew it every year. It hangs out there in the city hall there.
I move that we approve it.
I second.
Okay, it was been moved and seconded to approve the Fair Housing Proclamation. All in favor? Motion passes. Okay, Todd, you're up on the planning and zoning.
As you know, Kendrick decided to bail.
What's that?
Kendrick decided to bail out on the Planning and Zoning Commission. So the question was whether we still had one. And the answer is yes. Problem is we do need to make some amendments because our planning and zoning can't meet. Because half of the members are from Kendrick and they've pulled out. And so they can't form a quorum until we amend the ordinance and let them continue. So there's some, we've got to get rid of, we've got to change the name, we've got to get rid of the members from Kendrick. So I can have a proposed amending ordinance for you for next meeting.
And do we have, so we would go through the proposed ordinance and then we would have to have a public hearing on the ordinance?
Yes.
Not, so we would look at the proposed next month?
Well, you can have it posted for a hearing next month as well. You don't have, I mean, I can email it to everybody. And if you have an objection, you contact me. Don't respond all because that would be an improper meeting, but if you respond to me with any objections to the draft, I can address that, but otherwise, I can get it to Cheyenne for publication and posting for a hearing.
Will we have our iPads back by then to have email?
I have nothing to do with that.
We're hoping to,
I'll bug him tomorrow.
yeah. Okay, anything else on that?
No.
Okay, so Cheyenne did ask me about the Caselle Connect Cash Receipting, so I asked her to put it on there. Do you wanna speak to that a little bit, Cheyenne? Kind of let us know what it does and how
Yeah,
helpful it will be.
so after speaking with Cindy, to get a little bit more information about, her thoughts on why would be beneficial is, the biggest issue that we have is everything I do on the clerk side is through what's called utility management, so all the utility bills and everything related to that, and all the payments that come in day to day, I enter it into the utility management program that we purchase through Caselle. The problem with that is, without the cash receipting program, the utility payments in that program doesn't talk to our general ledger. So I believe what would happen is, Melva would enter all of these payments and do weekly deposits. And then she would put them in a folder, and then when Cindy would go to reconcile bank accounts, she would have to take the folder and go through all of the deposits and enter that information into the general ledger so it would reconcile. So I believe the biggest benefit is those two systems would talk to each other. So all of that reconciliation would be done automatically. So it just kind of cuts out that manual step. So I reached out for a quote, and up front it would be, I believe, $1,050. So that includes, so $550 of that is training, and she said that it includes, there's a bunch of video training, and then there's also one-on-one training if that's something that I would want to do. I can contact Caselle, and not in person, but over the phone, and they can remote in and train me that way. And then the $500 is the one-time setup fee, and then monthly after that, the cost of the software is $205.
I think this is a good idea, it's gonna save us money in the long run.
It's a lot, yeah, I agree.
Time consuming, yeah.
Yeah, especially dropping down to one person.
I agree. Yeah, I make a motion to go ahead and purchase the extra training and program for you.
Been moved, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded, all in favor? Motion passes.
Awesome, thanks guys.
Okay. So the next item is, have Amanda approved to sign on the Wells Fargo accounts like they did for me when I was president. She's in town, so if we have an emergency or something, she can come down and sign, just kinda like what we did last time, so just wanted to, yeah.
So I have a question, so if and when there's a new council president, the former one gets taken off and the new one goes on there, it's kinda like,
What should happen now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And this would be just to approve her as the signer for the checks. Something we might wanna look at is having another executor on the accounts, cause right now I'm the only executor, so I'm the only one that can make changes to the accounts, like who's the signer. So when Dick, we approved me to be an executor before Dick left, just because if something happened, we need somebody to be able to make changes to the accounts. So I don't know if that's something that we wanna worry about, not necessarily this meeting, but this year, or if we wanna wait till election time, but that's something we definitely wanna be considering is, because the way the bank explained it to me is if something would have happened to Dick, it's a real long, hard process to be able to add signers, remove signers, do the guarantor thing, so better to get us protected moving forward. Having at least, 2 guarantors, whether it's another council member, or if, Cheyenne, or if not, Clifford, or, something like that, but we definitely wanna make sure that we have have the city protected in that way.
I'd say whatever
I'm the
you
only
need.
one that's been here forever.
What'd you say?
I'm the only one that's been here forever.
Cynthia?
Well,
Here before most of
Me and
us.
Cynthia's been here longer than me, but I've been here longer than everybody here.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve Amanda to be added on as a signer for the Wells Fargo account.
Do I have a second? Moved and seconded, all in favor? Motion passes. So, Cheyenne, we'll get together and we'll set up an appointment with Wells Fargo. Okay. So I asked for this to be on the agenda, the discussing of implementing, it's just a discussion item. It's been brought up, you know, that why we don't have business licenses. I did have Cheyenne reach out to other towns. Kendrick doesn't have them, Moscow does obviously, but, you know, just kind of little lost revenue possibly, and we don't know exactly what's operating in our city. So I just wanted to bring that up so we could talk about it. And then if somebody wants to decide it might be a good idea, then they can just add it to next month's agenda. Does anybody have any thoughts on that we can talk about, or want to talk about?
I think it makes sense, especially in a commercial district. There's a lot of people that have businesses in their home that run as an LLC for umpteen reasons. I don't know about it.
Right.
But definitely if it's a commercial business in a commercial district that pays commercial taxes, it makes more sense to me.
That makes sense to me.
You guys have any thoughts?
If I can make one comment. As you know, we've received a number of complaints about Ed Groseclose's place. How do we know it's a business? You know, how do we know who's doing what in the town if you aren't requiring, and it doesn't have to be anything onerous. A business license can be really easy, but if you don't know who has what, how can you make sure the town is running right? And so, if you know, Ed says, well, I've got this business and it's been there forever, we have no idea how long it's been there because nobody's ever had to get a license for it. And if it's in the middle of a residential area and he's wanting to have an industrial business, and that's not Ed necessarily, but you ought to be able to know so you can put in those restrictions and keep, you know, we don't want to stop the Avon lady from having her LLC in her home. But we do want to stop the car dealer from opening up a car lot in a residential area.
Are there any towns comparable to our size? Because this is gonna have to do an ordinance for this.
Right.
Are there any towns comparable to our size that have, in locality that have business licenses?
I'm gonna have to double check, but I think Troy and Deary both do.
Cheyenne reached out to
Okay.
some of them
And I might not have got a response from Deary, but I know Kendrick, Bowville, Moscow does, but it's only certain types of businesses that they care about getting a license from. And they have the list on their website with the applications. But I didn't get anyone responding to my email saying they did, but they might not have responded to me.
I'm pretty sure Deary does.
Deary does, great, I'll reach out to them.
So that makes sense to me though, having a list of businesses that need it versus like you said, the Avon lady or what is that, or my cousins do this, the cook one. Pampered
No,
Chef.
Pampered Chef.
Great stuff, by the way.
And Tupperware.
Yeah, yeah, that was a very good question, Eric. I was gonna ask about, so we'll have to have an ordinance for that and a public hearing on that as well.
I will check and see what Deary has. And when I send out that proposed ordinance on planning and zoning, I can send that out, whatever they have to you as well. So you have a start, maybe a case to start from.
Definitely anything open to the public.
Okay, so we need to set a budget hearing date for fiscal year 2026. We usually do this at the meeting in August,
Which would be August 12th.
August 12th. Also, starting next month, we'll be doing budget workshops. So I'm gonna be working with Cheyenne to get the budget printed out how I know the council likes it. So, her and I have already had some talks about that, so I'm gonna be working with her on getting that printed out for us. And then I would probably recommend, I don't know, just a thought on the first one, starting at maybe at 6. I know is that gonna be difficult for you?
No, I'll make that work.
Just because the first one, you know, we're gonna do it like we did and eventually did last year. the first one, you know, we're still, Cheyenne's gonna be new to it and stuff, and just kinda get our feet wet, and then we can
And
shorten
Amanda
ones
will be new to
after,
it, so she
yeah.
won't understand it.
And then the next ones, if we need to, we can shorten it to 6:30. That was just my recommendation, wanted to see what the council thought.
I think it's a great idea, I appreciate the consideration on that.
Okay, so next meeting, we'll have the budget workshop, Cheyenne, at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
And then the regular, then depending on if we're able to do the, public hearing, that would be prior to the meeting. So we'll figure that out as we get closer, because we'll have to put notice in the paper.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay,
And then, so setting the actual budget hearing,
We usually do it in the August meeting, which will be
Okay.
August 12th, so we don't have
Okay.
to come in at
I just have to
7:00.
send a
You guys
form
will
in to Latah County,
Yeah.
so I wanna,
I'll sit in the audience.
yeah, so it'll be our August meeting, August 12th.
okay. And will that be at 7?
6.
Oh, it's
No. So next meeting will be starting at 6 for budget workshop.
Right,
The budget hearing we usually do at either 6:30
6:30, I
or
think.
6:30, yeah, 6:30 or 7, I think. You remember what we did last year?
I think it was 6:30, because we sat around for a few minutes.
Right.
6:30.
Yeah. So we'll set the budget hearing for 6:30 on that date.
okay, I will get that information sent out to Latah County, cause they need it before the
6:30 for
30th.
budget, cause it was really quick when they finalized it.
Okay. Staff reports, Justin.
So I broke down and started a list of all the things that we're doing every day. I can't keep track, and Joe reminds me. So I did start a list, you're welcome to review this at any time, being city council, or the city or whatever. But I will tell you that, Joe and I did go get TVs, we have a TV flat screen for up here, and we also have one for out here, we picked those up at Walmart. Cheyenne's coordinated with the computer guys to get the camera going, and she can update you on that. Joe and I talked to Nick about getting signs made for out here. We already have a sandwich board, which we think we can modify, and then, signs on the building for the annex and for the city council chamber.
Because we get a lot of people trying to come through the main,
Oh.
so we're gonna point arrows to back here. And then we're gonna put one that says annex out on the front of, by the annex door.
Yeah, and the other thing that we're kind of working on is, a person is putting in a double wide in town, and they have paid their sewer and water hookup connections, and so we've got the camera from Kendrick, and we're working on finding where we're gonna put those connections in. They're trying to get rolling on that ASAP, so we're working on that, so.
And the door locks?
Oh, and we went to George's Lock and Key and ordered the locks, one lock for the front door in there and one lock for here. And the $500 estimate is
They don't
what we
make that
thought
lock
we were
anymore.
ordering, but they are out of those, and they're out of stock, is that right?
They don't make them anymore.
They don't make them. So if we went to the lower model, it wouldn't give us what we need, so we went the next model up, and it's gonna be about $1,800 total. That's for the install and the locks. And does it
And
have
the cable to be able for us to be able to program
Does it have the computer thingy too?
it. You just hook it to a laptop.
A laptop, okay, so you can hook into them and print a report of who accessed the doors, and you can change the codes and all that kind of stuff, so.
And we do have those funds in building maintenance, because we haven't done a lot of building maintenance, so I did look at that when Justin told me that it was gonna be.
Cool.
Yep.
So there's, oh, and we did, order the fertilizer. I think I told you last time we ordered 2 years worth because we saved $300 by doing that. And they told us not to put it on until it warms up a little more, but we'll be putting that on the field, so.
Nice.
Okay, anything else? Okay, Amanda?
I spoke with Joe the other day. I was down at a baseball game and the ladies' restroom was a mess. It sounds like, I don't know when Joe, you thought you were.
I'm gonna try to do it next week.
Yeah, so he's gonna, replace the pipe down to the sewer, so hopefully that won't happen again. Yeah. It was not fun to,
Was it leaking sewage?
yeah, well, I mean, I didn't go in there, but that's what some women were saying, so luckily the porta potties are on the other side of the, by the other field now, so there was that to use, but.
The garbage truck, we had the dumpster over there briefly, and the garbage truck ran over the sewer line. It's only about this deep. So it crushed it, and then Josh and I repaired it with, we had to saw off both sides and put a thingy in the middle and fix it. Well, now that stuff gets hung up on that, and it's been broken again, so,
It's been broken 3 times,
yeah, we're just gonna.
so we're just gonna replace the whole line and get rid of all those breaks. So it quits plugging up.
I wanna know the status of the iPads. I wanna know who's gonna pay for it, I wanna know why it happened, and I wanna investigate that.
Okay, well, here's,
Tell me what you know.
well, so I know that we don't need to replace them.
That's good.
We were able to find a way to basically have them wiped. So that's why Computer Doctor has them currently. And then they're also going to be moving the emails to an Outlook email system because it's much more user-friendly and easier to access. You could do it on your phone or a computer or the iPads or wherever. So that's what they're working on with that. And then in terms of paying for it, I would assume you guys.
Well, I would like to kinda know why the issue happened, if you could tell me why the issue happened, if you know why. Is it because one particular iPad was not able to get into and we had to struggle with that and take that in?
Yes.
And is that
From
person gonna be
from
responsible
the
for
time
that
I
problem?
started, that was the first issue, was having issues accessing iPad because of the account and person it was connected to when it was set up.
Okay.
Just clarify, you're not talking about me.
No, I'm not talking about you.
That's all I care about.
Okay. I'm good.
I think that's something that I guess we can look into.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I wanted to start by thanking Justin, Joe, and Cheyenne for working with me with my schedule. You know, I'm not able to be down here early in the day like Dick was, so they've been very good about working with me when I'm able to meet with them, sign checks, do all that. Also making sure that they're doing their best to make sure the city is compliant with all of its rules and regulations. So I greatly appreciate that. And I would like to ask the council moving forward with everything that's been going on, you know, with all the stuff that we're gonna be talking about later, and just lots of stuff that we make sure we're checking our emails at least twice a week, if possible. You know, some of us check them every day. You know, I know we all have lives, but if we could at least glance at them twice a week, and then make sure we're bringing those iPads to council, so, because with all this stuff changing, that's a lot of extra paper we're gonna have to print, so if we could please just, you know, I know like I said, I know we have lives, but if we could please just try to take a few minutes out just to check those so that we're all in the know of what's going on, especially with the new ordinances possibly coming out and all that. Yep. Mark?
I will do better, Mayor.
That was directed.
I just wanna remind the public of the yard waste bin. I saw Joe had pulled the back and created room for it. There's been some unnecessary burning down Water Street, Banner area, stuff smoke that much is not necessary. If you need my help, I'll help you take it to the bin, but I'd just like to remind everyone that we have that, and it's popular, and people are using it, and it's making a big difference. So,
Yeah, I used it twice this weekend myself. It's very handy. That was a good idea.
appreciate you guys backing that up.
Yep. Yeah, so let's just put something on the Facebook page too to remind people that it's there and it's for brush only. Yep.
There are rules involving burning. I don't know if we wanna get into reminding people of those, but there are, I don't know if we wanna go to that step per se, but I'll let Cliff be the expert on that, but
Anything else, Mark?
that's all I have, sir.
Eric?
So I would like to investigate getting grants for sidewalks or anything else we could use, because the state's gonna give money, they should give it to us. To do that, I need some help from the council and the staff. I need mayor's help to sign stuff, and Cheyenne's, and Joe and Justin to identify things. So if you guys would be amenable to that, I would be amenable to writing grants.
Can I add to that? Eric has brought hundreds of thousands of dollars into our community via grants, so
He's done a lot for the Lions Club.
yeah, he's literally a grant expert, so I'm in full support of this.
So, yeah, I think that's a great idea, and I fully support that. Speaking of grants, there is a CETA It's an annual meeting coming up. Justin, Cheyenne, and myself are attending. It's just, we figured it'd be good networking. If anybody else from the council wants to attend, we just need to know by the 14th. It's a $30 ticket to get into the event.
Is there
It's
free
down
milk? Then I'll go.
It's down at the Red Lion. Yeah,
What's that?
it's a no-host bar. Yeah, but I think there is a meal, but, yeah, it's from 5 to 7 on the 24th, but we need to know by the 14th. But like I said, I felt it would be good for Justin to go for some networking, especially with our sewer stuff coming up. We can get some more information on grants and everything else to kind of help with Eric's project. And so I forgot to mention that during my staff report, but reminded me when Eric was talking about grants, so just wanted to bring that up.
Just give you the information and they'll start writing.
It'd be nice to have somebody to be able to write grants on council.
Yeah.
Yep.
And with that, there was actually just an email circulating around the clerks, and the Lewiston clerk had reached out to everyone to let them know that there is a grant, and I can't remember the details, it's in my email, but I'll forward that to you.
Yes.
And I think it was for exactly that kind of stuff.
Cool.
Todd, did you have anything?
An executive one.
Yeah. Cheyenne?
Yeah, I guess on the clerk side, I have a training coming up on the 23rd in Moscow, and it's just a clerk's training. All the local clerks will be there, and then I believe after the training finishes, the clerks meet up probably for dinner or something, and kind of talks amongst themselves, and I think bounce ideas off of each other, and I don't know, I've never been, but it sounds fun. So that'll be really good for me, to meet people face to face. I have reached out and talked to other clerks just on the phone and via email, but it'll be nice to put a face to it. So that'll be really helpful on the clerk side. And then a camera update. So we went ahead and ordered the Logitech Rally camera, as we decided in the last meeting through Computer Doctors. I was hoping it'd be here by now. They thought it would be, but I haven't heard from them, so I'm guessing it's just taking a little bit of time to get here. For them to come out and install it, their rate is $100 an hour, is their labor rate. I don't know if that includes travel as well, mileage probably as well. So I don't know what that final cost will be. The guy I was talking to had been here before, but it had been a while, so we couldn't quite remember the layout of everything. So we were having a hard time on connecting with, when I was explaining to him where we had kind of looked at putting it, he couldn't quite picture it, so he said until he gets out here, he can't really give a certain estimate, I guess, of how long it'll take. It just kind of depends on where we're wanting to put it and probably where cords and things like that would go.
So is he gonna be able to come out and take a look and give us an estimate?
I think he's wanting to come out when the camera got here.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was going to coordinate with him when he calls me to let me know that the camera's here, and then I'll also have to go in and get the iPads as well. So I'll be in communication with them and then can pass that along to
Okay,
you and council.
perfect. One question about your training. I think we talked about that maybe, cause it's in the morning, right? Or is it in?
Yes, it starts at, I believe, 9.
So I know we talked about this, but I don't know if Joe or Justin was gonna be able to.
I haven't coordinated. Let's see, you'll just be getting back from vacation, I think.
It's okay.
Right.
Either one of us would be happy to help.
So
Okay.
if something does come up, let's just put on the Facebook page that, closed for training or whatever, if something comes up and one of you aren't able
Oh,
to.
if we aren't able, okay.
Yeah, as soon as we kinda have an idea,
Perfect,
just to
okay.
let the public know.
Okay, yeah, I'll coordinate a little bit closer when we have an idea of what's going on.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you.
Did you have anything else? I kind of interrupted you, so I apologize.
No, that's okay. I've been doing training with Cindy on the treasurer stuff. Had a good 6 hours today of training with her, so that was really helpful. I was able to get through, getting that list printed for you guys to go through, and bills are put in the system so I can cut checks tomorrow and get that taken care of. So, and I did payroll last week and that went smoothly. So those are kind of the two big things that, happen each month that I was anxious about, and so, Cindy was super helpful with that, and I feel good about it. And now there's just kind of the unknowns out there that, waiting for them to pop up, but, Cindy's been great and really helpful in the treasurer's side.
Clifford? Joe?
No.
Okay,
Well, actually, I do have one
Do
thing.
you wanna talk about the training today?
So Clifford, Justin, and I went to a training today for, it was kind of the firewise that they had come down, so we can go around and tell people that what to recommend stuff to do to their house to help protect it from wildfires or fires alone. So we went to that training today, so we're gonna try to put some of that stuff out. I was gonna have, gave some pamphlet to Cheyenne, saying that we're all certified to do that now. We went to that training, so we can, all three of us can do that, so. And
Good.
don't be afraid to use it, cause it's actually, I learned a lot today on some of the stuff to look for, and so.
yeah, I got on their website, it was interesting to see some of the, like, different plants that are fire resistant and stuff like that.
Yeah, cause like, they say if you have 3 feet of rock between, right from your house out, it lowers your house from catching fire by like 68%.
67%,
Wow.
which
Just by having,
was amazing.
yeah, so just stuff like that, just little stuff that would make a big difference in the overall picture.
Good. Anything else?
That'd be all.
Okay, so now we'll open it up to public comments. Does anybody have a public comment? Other than Clifford's check bouncing.
I tried.
No public comments? Okay,
Okay. I'll make a motion to go into executive session pursuant to Idaho Code 74-2061F.
do I have a second? It's a roll call vote. Amanda?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
Do we have to? Yes.
Motion passes.
Desmond.
Can you close that camera?